When the judge asked him one last time if he was sure about the divorce, he smirked and said, "Absolutely, Your Honor. She doesn't fit my lifestyle anymore." The courtroom went silent. Cameras clicked, and right beside him, his young mistress smiled. Confident, proud, and careless. Everyone thought it was just another divorce hearing. But no one, not even the judge, knew how twisted this case was about to become. The courtroom smelled of perfume and tension. Marcus, dressed in a designer suit, leaned back in his chair with arrogance dripping from every gesture. He had once been a charming husband, a successful real estate developer. Now, he looked like a man who thought he owned the world. Across the room sat Alicia, his wife of 12 years, a black woman in a simple blue dress. She didn't have expensive lawyers or designer heels. What she had instead was something Marcus could never buy: quiet strength. The media had shown up because the case had gone viral. Millionaire husband divorces wife for his secretary, reporters whispered. The mistress, Tina, kept fixing her hair, flashing a diamond bracelet Marcus had gifted her. When Alicia took the stand, she spoke softly. "I just want what's fair, Your Honor." Marcus chuckled loudly. "Fair? You've already lived off me long enough. Let's not pretend this was love." The courtroom gasped. Even the judge, an older woman with piercing eyes, leaned forward. "Mr. Rhodes, please show some respect." But Marcus wasn't done. He waved his hand dismissively. "Respect? She's lucky I'm even giving her this much attention. She didn't support my lifestyle, didn't look the part. How could I take her to events looking like that?" Alicia lowered her eyes. She didn't cry. She just sat there and still, silent, absorbing every word. The mistress whispered something into Marcus's ear and laughed. He smiled wider. The audience shifted uncomfortably. Some women in the back muttered in disgust. Then the judge said calmly, "Mr. Rhodes, you mentioned assets. Could you clarify your statement about shared property?" Marcus leaned forward, proud again. "Of course, Your Honor. Everything's in my name. The house, the cars, even the company she thinks she helped build. She gets nothing." The judge scribbled something on her notepad, her face unreadable. Alicia just looked at her hands, and then a faint smile touched her lips. Small, but enough for the judge to notice. For the first time, Marcus looked uneasy. "Is there something funny, Mrs. Rhodes?" the judge asked. Alicia shook her head. "No, Your Honor, it's just, I remember signing a few papers years ago. Maybe I'll let my lawyer explain." Marcus frowned. "Lawyer?" he said, his confidence cracking slightly. Alicia's quiet lawyer stood up, a calm man with a briefcase and a knowing look. "Your Honor, before we continue, we'd like to submit new evidence to the court, documents signed by Mr. Rhodes himself." The judge adjusted her glasses. Marcus blinked, his smile gone. Tina leaned closer, whispering nervously. The judge nodded. "Very well. Let's see what you have." As Alicia's lawyer approached the bench, the air shifted. Everyone could feel it. Something big was coming. Marcus leaned back again, pretending not to care. But his hand was trembling slightly under the table. And that's when the judge said, "Mr. Rhodes, I think you should pay close attention to this next part." The judge adjusted her glasses and began reading the document slowly, word by word. The courtroom fell into silence so thick you could hear every nervous breath. Marcus tried to look calm, but his fingers tapped anxiously on the table. His mistress, Tina, leaned toward him and whispered, Relax, babe. She's bluffing. Alicia sat still, her eyes locked on the judge. Not a hint of fear, not a single tear. Then the judge's tone changed. "Mr. Rhodes," she said firmly, "are you aware that this prenuptial agreement was amended 2 years ago? And that you signed the revision?" Marcus blinked. "That's impossible." "I never." The judge raised her hand. "It's right here. Your signature verified. This revision includes a clause transferring ownership of your real estate firms, intellectual property to your wife, Mrs. Alicia Rhodes." The crowd gasped. Cameras clicked. Marcus's jaw tightened. "That's absurd. That clause was for tax purposes only." The judge's eyes didn't move. "Perhaps. But the language here states otherwise. It names Mrs. Rhodes as co-founder and equal shareholder." Alicia's quiet smile widened just slightly. She didn't even look at him. She just whispered something to her lawyer, who nodded calmly. Marcus shot up from his seat. No, this is manipulation. She couldn't even run a coffee shop, let alone my company." The judge frowned. "Sit down, Mr. Rhodes." Tina tugged on his sleeve. "Marcus, maybe we should just settle," he snapped at her. "Stay out of this!" For the first time, the confident businessman looked desperate. He rubbed his temple, muttering, "This isn't happening." Alicia's lawyer opened another folder. "Your Honor, there's more. We'd also like to submit emails where Mr. Rhodes instructed his assistant, now known as Ms. Tina Smith, to falsify expense reports and transfer funds from the company to his personal accounts." The audience erupted. Marcus froze. "That's a lie." The judge pounded the gavel. "Order in the court." All eyes turned to Alicia. She was still composed, her voice calm but cutting. "Your Honor, when I discovered the missing funds, I tried to confront him privately. He said, and I quote, 'No one will ever believe you.'" Marcus turned pale. "You can't prove that." Alicia's lawyer placed a small flash drive on the desk. "Actually, we can. There's an audio recording from their last conversation before she left the house." Tina's face drained of color. You recorded him?" Alicia didn't look at her. "No, he recorded himself. Accidentally." The judge took the drive and handed it to the clerk. "We'll verify the content before the next session. For now, I'm adjourning for review." As the gavel struck, Marcus slammed his briefcase shut, his arrogance replaced by visible fear. He glared at Alicia. "You set me up." Alicia finally stood. Her voice was soft, but her words cut deep. "No, Marcus, you did that yourself. I just stopped letting you hide it." As she walked past him, Tina tried to speak, but Marcus brushed her off. The room whispered behind him, journalists scribbling, cameras flashing. The judge watched them both quietly before leaving the bench. There was something in her expression, as if she already knew how this story would end. Outside the courthouse, Alicia paused on the steps, the cold wind brushing her hair. Her lawyer asked, "You okay?" She nodded. For the first time in years. Back inside, Marcus leaned against the wooden rail, staring into space. His lawyer whispered, "We need to talk. If that audio's real, it's over." Marcus's face hardened. "No, I built everything. She won't take it from me." He looked up toward the door where Alicia had exited, his eyes darkening. And under his breath he said, "If the law won't save me, I'll save myself." The next morning, Marcus sat in his penthouse, staring at the city skyline. The same skyline he once called his empire. Now, it looked like a battlefield he was losing. Papers were scattered across the glass table. Legal notices, news headlines, and screenshots from social media. Wife outsmarts millionaire husband in divorce drama. Mistress money and mistakes. The fall of Marcus Rhodes. He slammed his phone against the wall. Tina jumped. "Marcus! What are you doing?" He turned on her, eyes wild. "You! You told me she was finished, that no one would believe her." Tina stepped back, trembling. I didn't know she had proof." Marcus paced across the room like a caged animal. "Proof? That wasn't proof. That was manipulation. I'll fix this. I'll find something on her. Something that makes her look like the liar." Tina frowned. "Marcus, stop. The judge already hates you. Maybe you should apologize." He stopped dead. "Apologize? To her? The woman who embarrassed me in front of everyone?" His voice cracked with rage. "Never." There was silence. The only sound was the city outside. Then Marcus's phone buzzed. A text from an unknown number. "Unknown. I have info about your wife. Meet me at the office tonight. Alone." Marcus's heartbeat quickened. "Finally," he whispered. "Someone's on my side." That night, he drove through the rain, the streets glowing with neon reflections. The wipers clicked rhythmically, but his mind was chaos. When he reached his office, the lobby lights were dim. The guard wasn't at the desk. A single file sat on the front counter, marked "Confidential." Rhodes' investigation. He grabbed it. Inside were photographs, not of Alicia, but of him. Meetings, bank transfers, signatures. Everything that proved he'd been funneling money illegally for years. His breath caught. "What the hell is this?" A voice echoed from the doorway. "Evidence, Mr. Rhodes." He turned and froze. It was Judge Hamilton. She stepped inside, coat draped over her arm, eyes sharp and cold. "You really thought this was about a divorce, didn't you?" Marcus stammered. What are you doing here?" The judge placed a recorder on the table. "Your wife submitted this yesterday. You've been under investigation by Internal Financial Affairs for 6 months. That little company you tried to hide overseas? It's tied to 3 shell accounts, all under your name." Marcus's knees weakened. "No, that's impossible. I signed every transfer yourself," she interrupted. "Just like you signed the amended prenup. You thought you could bury your mistakes under arrogance and money." Tina, who had followed him secretly, stepped out from behind the wall. "You said this was just divorce court, Marcus," she cried. "You dragged me into this." Marcus's voice dropped to a whisper. "You set me up. All of you." The judge didn't flinch. "No, Mr. Rhodes, you set yourself up the moment you thought you were untouchable." Marcus lunged toward her desk, grabbing the papers. "This can't be real." Security guards stormed in, pulling him back. He struggled, shouting, "You can't do this! It's all lies!" But the judge only said, "Save it for tomorrow's hearing. The press will be very interested in the rest of these files." Tina turned away, tears streaking her face. "I'm done, Marcus. I'm done with you." The guards led him out in handcuffs. His perfect world, the suits, the cars, the control, all collapsing under the weight of his own ego. Outside, rain poured down harder. As they shoved him into the police car, Marcus saw Alicia standing under an umbrella by the courthouse steps, calm and composed. Their eyes met for one brief moment. She didn't smile this time. She simply said, "You wanted control, Marcus. Now you've lost everything, including yourself." The car door slammed. The lights flashed. The city swallowed his last bit of pride. 3 weeks later, the courtroom was packed again, reporters shoulder to shoulder, lights flashing. The case had gone from local scandal to national obsession. Everyone wanted to see how it would end. Alicia walked in quietly, wearing the same simple blue dress as before. No jewelry, no designer bag, just calm confidence. Marcus, on the other hand, looked nothing like the man from before. The arrogance was gone, his hair messy, his face pale, wrists still marked from the cuffs. He'd spent 2 nights in custody before posting bail. The smirk that once defined him was replaced with silent fear. When the judge entered, the room instantly fell silent. "Court is now in session," she said, voice steady. "This is the final hearing in the matter of Alicia Rhodes versus Marcus Rhodes." Marcus's lawyer tried one last time. "Your Honor, we request leniency. My client has acknowledged his mistakes and—" The judge cut him off. "Your client hasn't acknowledged anything. He's denied every allegation, even when presented with proof." Marcus clenched his jaw. "This is a setup," he shouted. "You're all working together. You, her, that lawyer of hers." The judge's gavel struck hard. "That's enough." The sound echoed through the chamber. Then she leaned forward, eyes locked on him. "Mr. Rhodes, before I announce the verdict, there's something you should know." Marcus frowned. "What now?" The judge took off her glasses slowly. "You remember 2 years ago when your company was audited? The lawyer who helped protect your assets back then was my son." The entire courtroom froze. Alicia looked up, slightly startled. The judge continued. "When he resigned from your firm, he told me something, that you were hiding money and cheating your wife out of everything she deserved. I didn't interfere then, but when your wife's petition landed on my desk, I requested to oversee the case personally." Marcus's face drained of color. You can't do that." "Oh, I can," the judge said coldly. "And I did. I watched you insult the woman who stood by you, mock her dignity, and brag about power you never truly had. So, here's your verdict." She picked up the papers. "Mr. Rhodes, your accounts are hereby frozen. Ownership of Rhodes. Real estate is to be transferred to Mrs. Alicia Rhodes pending full investigation. You are also charged with financial fraud, falsifying documents, and corporate misconduct." Marcus's world shattered in an instant. No, this isn't real." The judge ignored him. "Mrs. Rhodes, your petition for divorce is granted. You will receive full custody of all joint assets and compensation for emotional and financial damages." Alicia blinked, tears welling for the first time. Not of sadness, but of relief. She whispered, "Thank you, Your Honor." Marcus stumbled, trying to speak, but words failed. He looked at Alicia with a mix of anger, disbelief, and regret. "You planned this, didn't you?" he whispered. Alicia turned toward him, her voice calm but steady. "No, Marcus. You planned your own downfall. I just stopped protecting your lies." Reporters surged forward as officers approached. Tina, sitting in the back, quietly slipped away, hiding her face from the cameras. As Marcus was escorted out, Alicia walked past him one final time. He muttered, "You'll regret this." She stopped, looked him straight in the eyes, and said softly, "I already did. That's why I left." The courtroom erupted. Some gasped, some clapped, others recorded every second. The judge's gavel struck one last time. Case closed. Outside the courthouse, sunlight broke through the clouds, bright, warm, and symbolic. Alicia stood on the steps, finally free. Reporters surrounded her, shouting questions. But she only said one thing before leaving. "Never underestimate the quiet ones. They remember everything. And as the crowd watched her walk away, one thing was clear. Marcus Rhodes had lost not just his money or his pride, but the one person who ever truly believed in him.